I get out and move. I'm outside connecting with other people. And there's actually research on dog owners that shows that you have more social interactions and build strong relationships. And that is one of the biggest predictors of happiness. There was like an 80-year-long study that shows that connection matters more in happiness than money or material things.
Welcome back to the Courage Corner, where we talk about the skills and mindset you need to build the career you want. I'm Luka, your editor in computer engineering that somehow got his hands on a microphone, and today we're putting our very own Marcy Bullock in the hot seat. Marcy, you're always sharing other people's stories, but today we get to hear yours. Are you ready?
Absolutely, and thank you for inviting me on my own podcast. This is super fun.
You work with graduate students every day, and a lot of that has to do with self-care. Why is self-care so important, and why do we still need to focus on it so much?
Because I've seen over and over again that self-care is often the first thing that folks let go of when they're any kind of student, undergrad or especially grad student, because it's so intense and they feel overwhelmed. Students tell me they'll rest after the semester's over, but the truth is you can't pour from an empty cup. We've heard that before. So I have a few principles that I'm going to share today that are very simple, they're very science-backed, and they help with mental health, productivity, and just keeping a more optimistic outlook.
Self-care is the first thing to go. That's really interesting. What does that look like when you're prioritizing your studies and not focusing on self-care?
It looks like a lot of overwhelm, and I believe I saw a statistic that said over 2/3 of students feel completely overwhelmed. And when that goes, then it looks like a lot of negative feelings and a lot of anxiety.
Let's start with our first method of self-care, which is moving your body. Why not just call it exercise? Why is it moving your body specifically?
So many people have hang-ups with that word exercise, and it can sound like a chore or a punishment. And I want people to think of it as something joyful. Moving your body could be walking in nature, dancing in your kitchen, stretching, or even taking a rest and recovery day. The key is listening to this wonderful container, your body, and giving it what it needs.
I love how you mentioned dancing. I know we had Dr. Mayorga on the podcast recently who mentioned that she loves doing dancing on our free time to do some self-care. What are your favorite ways to move?
I love Pilates. That is wonderful for your core and your spine. I enjoy walking my dog out in nature, and I also enjoy my Peloton spin classes. I think I rode 3,000 miles in 1 year, and I never left my kitchen.
That's pretty impressive, Marcy.
Thank you so much.
And the second tip I've heard is gratitude. But how does gratitude actually help self-care?
Gratitude literally rewires your brain to notice the good. There's a study where patients with multiple sclerosis lowered their need for pain medication when they practiced daily gratitude. And my tip is simple. Name 3 things you're grateful for each day. You can write it in a journal if you want, on your notepad on your phone. And this is one a lot of people forget. Why? So if I am grateful for petting my dog, I might say the why is because I feel so much connection and companionship. When you spend the day looking for good things, you shift your mental focus away from stress and towards positivity.
And you mentioned daily gratitude. Is gratitude the type of thing that you can do once a day, or is it all the time?
I think about a gratitude journal because if I write it down at the end of the day when I'm winding down and I'm getting ready to rest up, then I go through my whole day looking for things to be grateful for. And I'll think, look at that beautiful flower. I might write that down later, but it puts me in that mindset all day long if I reflect at the end.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I've heard a lot about journaling and how much it can help you as well. I love that you've taken up journaling. Now, another practice of self-care is self-nourishing, nourishing your body. It sounds like common sense, but it's not always as easy as it sounds.
It isn't that easy because students are running on caffeine and vending machines, but what we fuel our body with affects our energy, our focus, and our mood. And you can journal that as well. Write down a food journal and how you feel after you put things in your body. And putting something nourishing in can also become something you're grateful for, like a warm bowl of comfort food, a crisp apple, a cup of tea. It's self-care that you can taste.
Now, let's say, theoretically, you sign up for classes that go from 10:15 to 4:15 on Mondays, and you're working all day on a day of the week. What are some quick snacks or quick things to pack or eat that can help with that?
I love that question. People have such busy days. I like doing food prep, and I tell students as well, put some things in your freezer. Like you could do something simple like a wheat or spinach tortilla, and you could put in some of your favorite fillings, maybe some cheese, maybe some protein, maybe a little bit of veggies, and you roll that up and you have that ready to go in your freezer. And maybe you just heat that up before you go and have that as a snack on the go. And that can be delicious.
Absolutely. Or you might be able to make it with some sweet potato, as we've heard recently.
Sweet potato is the best. I love that. You could make a sweet potato taco. Yum, I'm hungry.
And you've mentioned that 2 minutes of breathing a day can massively change your body. How?
Yes, breath practice. It helps calm your nervous system, especially when you're feeling really overwhelmed, like right before a test. If you just get to class early and you take an inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 5, and the key is you inhale 4, hold at the top, exhale a little bit longer, which could be 5. That could be just 2 minutes of intentional breathing can help you reset your mind and your body so you think more clearly.
When do you use this the most?
I use it in traffic.
Oh, really?
Yes, because someone cuts you off on the freeway and you're all of a sudden fight or flight goes into effect and you want to hit your horn. I take a deep breath. It sounds a little cheesy, but honestly, it is my body relaxing.
And the last self-care strategy that we're going to bring up today is reframing. Now, what does that exactly mean?
So it's about catching unhelpful thoughts and shifting them. For example, if your professor doesn't reply to your email, you might think, oh, I must have done something wrong. But reframing says, I don't know why I haven't heard back. Maybe they're busy. I'll focus on something I can do, which is in my sphere of control. And this helps me from spiraling and helps me stay in a healthier mental space.
Can you give an example of when you've used this in your own life?
I do catastrophizing often where I'll think to myself, I wonder because I said something wrong in this conversation, if that person I interacted with is fixating on it. And then I just remind myself, Marcy, you are not a mind reader. You do not know what they are thinking, and this is not serving you.
And sometimes that does happen to me. I catastrophize and imagine the worst case scenario. Is that a normal thing to do, or am I just an odd person like that?
It's actually part of our DNA is we have this negativity bias because we used to be chased by tigers. And so we had to survive. That's why we call it fight or flight. And surviving is not being killed by the tiger. So when you feel that negativity bias hitting you, you can remind yourself, oh, this is a mechanism that my body understands because it's part of the ancestry of the humans. And I'm not being chased by a tiger. All I did was spill coffee on my shirt. It will not kill me.
Absolutely. And I noticed that one of the best ways to manage with negativity in my own life is by staying with the people that mean the most to me, or even with the pets that mean the most to me. Can you explain how that works?
Well, for me, it is my Shetland sheepdog, Copa. I walk with him. I get out and move. I'm outside connecting with other people. And there's actually research on dog owners that shows that you have more social interactions and build strong relationships. And that is one of the biggest predictors of happiness. There was like an 80-year-long study that shows that connection matters more in happiness than money or material things. So maybe get yourself a fur friend.
That makes a lot of sense, and pets always make you feel happier. Now, if a student listening right now is feeling stressed out, just a bundle of nerves, feeling like everything's overwhelming, where do they start? How do they start prioritizing self-care over studies or other things?
Just start small. I think we gave 5 or 6 different things to do today, which people might be thinking, oh my goodness, I can't incorporate all that into my life. Gratitude, moving my body, nourishing my body, taking deep breaths, and also making sure that I am getting a good movement out in the world, maybe with an animal or human connection. Just start small and pick one thing that you heard today that you like and start from there. Maybe it's just the 2-minute breathing exercise, and that can create some momentum.
Well, thank you, Marcy. I love how you take these abstract concepts like self-care or values and make them more concrete, finding specific ways where we can tie it into our everyday lives.
I agree, and I think that it was fun talking about it. It isn't selfish to take care of yourself, but it's how you keep showing up as your best self.
Thank you for letting us turn the mic on you today, Marcy, and for giving us 5 ways to take better care of ourselves. I think we all needed that slight reminder. We'll link the practices in the show notes so you can try them yourself. And remember, self-care isn't selfish. It's how you keep showing up as your best self. If you found this helpful, share this episode with a friend and like and subscribe.